Hello and welcome to Reactions by Jeff. Today I'm going to be looking at Aida Garafuina's White Bird. This is what I would call an art song, only because it sounds like something I would have prepared for um, when I was preparing in high school for a vocal competition. And it has that sort of feel for it. If this belongs to an opera or anything like that, if this belongs to a specific Russian canon of music, I would love to hear about that. The lyrics that I found, the translations for the lyrics that I found, they're not, they didn't really lend themselves to anything that I would want to use. So if there's better translations for this, please let me know. But I'm very interested in seeing this again. I've watched this video a couple of times. This is sort of like one of the videos I go to when I just need something beautiful to listen to, and Aida's voice is one of those things. And there are beautiful people in here, there are older people in here, there's drama, there's intrigue, there's a whole bunch of stuff in this particular video, and I just really enjoy it. And so, without any further ado, why don't we just get started with it?
В час неизбежного рассвета душа моя истает светом, и со мной прибудет верность женской сути. Она одна меня хранила.
I'm sorry, I stopped it right as she started a note, but I just wanted to point out this art direction in this video. Just spectacular. There's always something grandiose about um, the productions that I've seen out of Russia from Dimash and from just across the board. There's just so much energy spent getting the visuals right. The blues and the grayish blues and the reds and the entire sort of art direction across the board, making sure that costumes and hair and lighting all match with the video itself and the message that's being sent here. Um, and again, I'm a sucker for historical drama, so if anybody wants to really show me stuff, just hook me on a historical drama set in somewhere like the 19th or 18th century or earlier, and I'm all about that. So I'll just rewind that a little bit, and we'll get back into this.
Одна в утраченном раю, гордость и покорность, две нити крепко сплетены в узор.
Her soprano is beautiful in terms of her ability to use tone. It's a fuller tone. It's not very light. It's not overly anything. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but basically, there's a richness to her tone, and it's very deliberate in how she uses it. She's very um, judicial. I mean, she's a professional opera singer, so all the stuff that I'm saying makes perfect sense. But it doesn't always happen. I mean, if you watch other professional opera singers, sometimes the way that they attack a phrase or they choose to sing something doesn't match up with what's really supposed to happen in the orchestration that surrounds it. And her voice is has this richness to it that really adapts well to the arrangements around it. And yes, am I a musician? No, I'm not necessarily, but have I listened to people for a long period of time sing? Yes, I have. And in that time, I've heard really good versions of songs and really bad versions of songs based off of the performance of the person within it, not by the fact that they didn't know what they were doing, but their voice type didn't necessarily match the music.
Звездная бездонность обнимет плечи, как нежна. Слава любви, разлуки долга и прощенья от века до сих пор. Открыть глаза навстречу солнцу, понять, что все еще вернется кипельным цветением мудрости прозрением и так открыто улыбнуться. От забытья легко очнуться белой птицею, песню всю свою допеть у неба на краю. Гордость и покорность, две нити крепко сплетены. Звездная бездонность обнимет плечи, как нежна. Слава любви, разлуки долга и прощенья от века до сих
What I was talking about earlier is if you listen to the vibrato in her voice, it's always perfectly measured. It doesn't get in the way of anything. And when I was listening to musical theater as a couple decades ago, and I was listening to different versions of Les Mis, there were different Fontines, and there were there are moments where certain Fontines, when they'd hit a high note, and let's say I dreamed a dream, and they'd hit a high note, the only thing I saw in the back of my mind was this big, wide open throat and just vocal cords flapping. And I understand vibrato is supposed to be there to sort of it actually can augment a performance or it can detract from it. And that Fontine's sort of flappy, wide open vibrato just struck me odd in that particular song. And so when you're listening to music, it is how vibrato sounds, and vibrato is to me a very integral part of how a song and a person singing a song integrates in with the music. And I listen for that sort of stuff because if the vibrato is taking me out of the performance, then it's a problem. And so I like listening to vibrato to see how well it integrates with the music. And with Aida, her vibrato just always moves into the music. It's part of the music, and I love it. It's there. You can hear it. It's not a flat tone, but it works so well with the orchestration, and it's just beautiful.
обнимет плечи, как нежна. Разлуки долга и прощенья от века до сих пор.
That note was everything. Every time I hear the song, that note will get me every time. Every time. Um, there are several reasons, and it goes back to what I was just mentioning before. The approach that she takes on that note, and it's part of her vocal style. It's part of her voice as a vocal type, and just genetically who she is in voice. I mean, not every soprano can hit that note as softly as she does and as deliberately as she does and hold it for as long as she does in a very solid manner. And like I said, people say, "Oh, well, professional singers can do everything." No, 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 no. Every professional singer has a limit to what they can do, and they have a tone that they can maintain. And that last note, and I'll go back to it, um, is that last note is one of those things that not every soprano can do in that particular way and hold it in for as long as she did. I mean, I I'm always in awe of people who can hold notes forever, and Aida can. And we saw that in Ti Amo Così, where Igor was reminding the conductor to keep that note going at the end. And so, um, yes, if you haven't seen that one, Dimash, Laura Fabian, and Aida Carafuina, Ti Amo Così, just an amazing last note. It goes on forever, and they delivered. And so let's listen to that last note again because there's a strength, a focus, a direction, and a tone that just complements how the orchestration moves underneath it. As the orchestration starts falling away, she continues on, and it's this steady tone that it just wraps around that entire section, and that's why it always gets to me. That note, too. The build in that note starts off soft, gets really loud. Well, not really loud, but it gets louder and louder and louder, and then it pulls back. There is no change in pitch. There's no change in tone. There is it. It's just beautiful. Well, anyway, let me know what you think about this song. Let me know what more information you have about this song. I'm currently doing some research on Aida. I'm going to go a little bit further than the Wikipedia page. I know there's more to her career than what's there, but she's done a lot of great things. Like she's performed at the 2012 Olympics. She's performed at the 2018, I believe it was the FIFA Cup. Um, she's performed with a lot of great people. She's performed with Placido Domingo. You can do a YouTube search for her, and you can see her paired with a whole bunch of people. She was paired with Andrea Bocelli a couple of times. One of them was just not a really good performance. I believe she was in Seattle, and I started watching that, and they were just, I mean, it was just a bad performance altogether because the orchestra forgot what song they were doing, and it really doesn't start anything off really well. But again, I mean, that this song here, this is where I sort of go when I need to not think about anything. Luckily, I'm older than that gentleman, so I will not be transported to 19th century Russia to do a duel over anybody. So, but anyway, let me know what you think. If you like this video, please click like. If you like what you see on this channel, please click subscribe. Um, and hit the notification bell. Please comment if you want to hear more from various artists. Please let me know. And again, I do thank you for your time, your patronage, and as always, be safe.